That's all we do is win. Welcome to Winning Workplace Wednesdays. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Miss Heather Ogburn Stokes. Let's give it up for Heather. Woo, 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 woo. Heather, please. You are looking stunning in your Serenity Seafoam Minty Green.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome. Please introduce yourselves to our listening audience.
Hi, everyone. My name is Heather Ogburn Stokes. I'm the founder and CEO of Serenity Light Recovery. We're an addiction treatment center located in Angleton, Texas.
Yes, yes, and yes. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey and how you became an entrepreneur?
Yes, well, I studied psychology for many years. I was pre-med, and my journey took a different direction. I'm a person in long-term recovery, and addiction affected my life, my journey, and my family's like I never expected or wished for. And through that, it gave me purpose. It gave me my mission in life and overcoming it. And so I decided to embark on the journey of creating a beautiful place for people just like me to recover and
Yeah.
get well. And so that was the start of the journey, and that was 2014. Designed and developed Serenity Light Recovery.
Yes. Heather, when we met at the Education 2.0 conference, and shout out, I look forward to speaking with Sai on Friday to just continue thinking about opportunities
Yeah.
for March of next year because it was so phenomenal. How was your experience?
It was absolutely incredible. You know, I attended as part of the Health 2.0, and when they told me that I would have access to meet and connect with so many different platforms and, on regular conferences, healthcare conferences or addiction conferences, I would have never been able to meet you,
Yes.
and connect, and all of our journeys and are aligned, and it was just incredible to be able to connect with a lot of individuals, like-minded individuals, and so
Heather, I love the light in you. I am a believer. As for me and my household, as for my business, the Shine Institute was based on Matthew 5:16, which says, "Let your light so shine before men that they may glorify your Father which is above." And your one thing that we connected on was Serenity Light, the light that's within. And so those who come to your recovery home, those who come to get a new start, a new lease on life, the verbiage that you have selected is intentional and it's powerful. Can you please elaborate a little bit about that?
yes. Well, my mother, she always told me you are the light. And I never quite understood that until began my journey in recovery and started really learning and reconnecting with my higher power, with my God, and knowing that his light lives within. And like I said, it became my mission to pour light onto others and be that beacon of light and hope for others that are stuck in the darkness, and to share with them that you don't have to be stuck. So Serenity Light Recovery, Serenity, the Serenity prayer got me through and continues to get me through minute by minute when I need it.
Yeah.
And I always need it. And then light, it's based on you are the light, and
Yes.
recovery, and that's what it's about. We do recover, and we can recover.
Yes, yes, yes. I love it because our God, He gives us chance after chance after chance. There's nobody that's perfect, and we're ever, last night in the class that I went to, we're ever evolving, we're ever growing. And the moment that we think we know it all, that is not a good day. So I just was in awe. I still have your pen and your brochure because it's just, not only are you the light, not only does the light live within, but because you've been intentional, and when you pass on your information, it's just, there's a magnet, there's a connection to
Mhm.
it. So I wanted to make sure that I shared that with
Well,
you.
thank you.
You're welcome. So, if you can please encourage the clients you serve, um, and I want to know how can you encourage someone? Winning Workplace Wednesdays talk a lot about the workplace, right? And in June, Johnny, the head for the Society of Human Resources Management, he talked about 4 areas for a human resources professional to focus on. We want to focus on our people, we want to focus on the business, we want to focus on our culture, and we want to focus on our heart, which is the catalyst that helps us through it all. And so, in coming through COVID, that was a very hard time on our mental health. Today, I mean, I interviewed Alex last week. We talked about how schools are no longer safe. That's one of the targets that individuals look at when they're considering mass shootings. And just how in 2023, mental health well being is such a big space that people are taking the time to get to learn more about, to grow, and to foster and make sure that they carve out that time for themselves. How can you encourage individuals like myself who supports organizations and those healthy workspaces to advocate, whether it's come to your location in Texas, to find a location in Kansas that may be close by to them, and the importance of mental health and some of the side effects, some of the cons if we don't take care of mental health, how we can find ourselves maybe having vices that may cause us to lead to recovery.
Yes. Well, I could probably talk for days on this and the importance of it. So thank you
Of
for that
course.
question. And it really boils down to we have to be well ourselves to be able to take care of and serve others, right? And stress, it's a given, right? But it's the number one offender for a lot of people, and it may not be drug addiction every time, right? It can kind of sprout out and show up in so many different forms: mental health, right? Depression, anxiety,
Panic.
some other untreated mental health diagnosis. And then it could be shopping addiction. It could be sex and love addiction. It can be gambling, or just that compulsive behavior trying to fix within, right? And fill that void.
Mhm.
That I find that the only thing that will fill that void properly is my higher power, my God, and that light.
Correct.
And so if we don't have that, if we don't have those tools to be able to decompress naturally and properly and healthy,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
To self-soothe in a healthy way, to um, you know, de-stress. A
Mhm.
lot of people say, I'm just going to go home and get that glass of wine and just kick back and relax. Well, that's
Mhm.
fine for a lot of people, and some it just becomes more than that, right?
Correct.
And then they kind of tune out and they don't want to get in touch with their feelings anymore because it becomes too much. And
Right.
so having a safe environment, safe workplace, I have an open door policy. If anybody's having a hard time, come and talk to us, right? And we have that communication, we have that outlet, and promoting self care is huge. So I have wellness services for the clients, but I also encourage the team to take care of themselves too. If you're having a
Yes.
day, jump on BioSound. It's sound therapy for
Mhm.
15 minutes. Get some AccuDetox, get some things to kind of reset, recharge, and be the best self that you can be, in the moment. And if you do need a mental health day, let us know and go take care of you, right?
Yes. Yes.
Um, it does not discriminate. It doesn't mean that you have moral issues or that you're not a good person. I mean, you are born a good, true human, and you
Mhm.
deserve and you're worthy to get well. So you
Yes.
shouldn't be ashamed of that.
Yes.
Um, it so much There's so much available, so many resources available out there: yoga,
Yes.
breath work, meditation you can implement in your daily lives, even at the office. Kind of turn your computer off for 5 minutes, do some
Yes.
breath work and some meditation, and kind of reset
Mhm.
and see where you're at. where you're at. But communication, trust is
Yeah.
huge in the workplace, and developing that culture where it's love and light.
Yes, love and light. I love that. You got to coin that one, Heather. That's what it's about. I was speaking with a gentleman and he was talking about his workplace and how he just felt so safe. He said that was the
Mm,
best place that
mm,
he's worked at thus far, and that his last workspace, he remembered being feeling fearful and
mm,
just wondering, am I going to get in trouble today? Did I do that right? And just triple checking his work just to make sure that it was right. So
yeah,
yes, love, there's so much we can get when we lead with love as
yeah,
leaders. Those who create those spaces for our employees, that they want to work for us, that they feel safe when they come through our doors, that they know you have an open door policy and that you're all right if they need a mental health day, as opposed to seeing something happen the very next day. So I applaud you for doing this work. I wish that there were more people like you in the world who created those spaces, who navigates and shares some of the solutions that are out there and available for others to take advantage of.
thank
Yes, yes,
you.
of course, you're welcome. This is some good
Uh-huh.
stuff. Okay, the next question asks, uh, yes, 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 yes. And so last week, as I mentioned, I interviewed Alex Rand and we discussed mental health opportunities at schools, with some students being labeled as not school ready,
Mm,
whether they are witnessing abuse in the household, their parents or caretakers not being able to handle the stress, as you mentioned. What are some frequent trends? So we've seen fentanyl, we've seen alcohol. Are there any? So fentanyl, I know, is new. Are there any new vices out there that you would recommend individuals to stay away from or be cautious of?
Yes, well, studies have shown that fentanyl is being put in everything. I recently know of a gentleman whose family member actually overdosed because they thought they were taking a Xanax from a friend, and it ended up having fentanyl in it, and he overdosed. And so, anything you're getting from friends or anything, it's not necessarily safe because you think it's where it's coming from.
Yeah.
So that would be my first caution.
Yeah.
And Delta 8 is one thing that is just kind of becoming more prevalent, that we've seen, and it's sometimes sold as CBD, but it's really not, and it's just a different form of THC. It's changing one molecule, so it's not detected on drug screening and
Mhm.
things of that sort. But we've seen an uptick in mental health. We've seen an uptick in psychosis, aggression, things of that sort from Delta 8. And people are walking around smoking it in their vapes, thinking they got it from CBD shop, and that it's not real THC, so it should be okay. But I send out that caution for that. It is not safe.
Yeah.
Um, and cocaine and methamphetamine seem to be on the rise as well.
Man. You know, in my area, there are also different radio advertisements in terms of meth, the methanol cigarettes. So it's just interesting how, like, as each year passes, as each decade passes, that thing changes.
Mhm.
Like fentanyl wasn't there. Delta 8, I am not familiar with it, but I definitely see a rise. Like in every other corner, there's like a vape shop.
Yes.
So those have popped up.
Yeah.
And as you said, many people may think that it's safe because it's not being detected should someone try to get into the workplace and take a drug test. They're passing it because those THC levels are not identified. But in the end, they may get addicted to this particular um, smoke, which is probably legal and fine right now, but then who knows, in 2025, it may not be.
Yeah. Yes, and some CBD shops or vape shops are saying, CBD is great. This one's a little bit stronger. Try this, and they're getting an uptick in sales, and we're seeing just more aggression and more mental health because of it. So it's really sad to see that. And then I always have to say that, alcohol, it's everywhere, right?
Yes,
Everything that we do, every event, even going to the movies, right?
yes.
Everything that us as society we do, alcohol is prevalent and
It's
there.
even in the nail shop, Heather. No, they're like, "Do
I don't
you
know how
want
many
a
times I have to say, no, thank
I'm
you, thank you. Can I just have a glass of water while I get my nails
Yes,
done?
yes,
So,
yes.
um, yeah.
Wow, wow. We are definitely living in a different society for sure. All righty. I want to congratulate you on having an extended care program. How long is the duration of that program? And do any of the alumni come back to give back, to tell their story, and to encourage others that's at the recovery home?
Yes, so I'm actually really excited because COVID changed things, right? We had to partially shut down some of the facility, make it a closed campus instead of having alumni come in person. We had Zoom, and it just was not the same.
Got it.
A person in long term recovery as myself, I go back to my alumni reunion because it's a recharge and I get to see and
Yes.
be, right? And so we're opening the campus back up. And so alumni get to come and share their experience, strength, and hope to the next. And then we have an alumni group. And so, on Facebook, and then we're opening up our in person alumni groups in Houston. So it's expanding, and I'm really excited.
Awesome.
And our aftercare program, well, we have an extended program where our typical treatment after detox is 30 days of residential, and 30 days is never enough, right? And it's more of a stabilization in that at that moment. But 60, 90 days are available. And then we always recommend intensive outpatient, because it's a nice step down process. And so even if it's not with Serenity Light Recovery and they want to go back to their home area or maybe a different environment, we always try to plug them in what best fits that individual for great success. And so, intensive outpatient can last, 8 to 12 weeks. And then from there, we have recovery coaches
Yeah.
that stay in touch, that are supportive. And we say our aftercare recovery coach program's a year, but we never turn that off, right? It's lifetime
Exactly.
membership. You always have
Maintenance.
access to us. We'll never
Yeah.
say, no, we're not going to support you. So we have that. And then an extensive family program, and just a lot of support because that's needed.
Yes, that's good that you also cater to the families and not just one individual. Can you elaborate a little bit more about that?
Yes, so once a month we have our 3-day intensive family program where the first day on Wednesday, and it's all day education for the family. We're talking about the disease of addiction, we're talking about codependency, we're talking about good communication skills, a lot of different great information for them. And then Thursday and Friday, their loved ones join in, and it becomes this beautiful process to watch them communicate again. We sprinkle in a lot of our holistic services that we offer for our clients for the family to participate in because it's time to get their lives back in order as well. So, practicing yoga will be a great benefit in so many ways. And it's a great way to naturally heal the brain, but also, heal the heart and soul. And so we do family yoga, we do experiential therapy with both the family and their loved loved ones, and we do gratitude circles and a lot of different wonderful things. But it's bringing that family back together, teaching them how to communicate or at least start that dialogue and that support, and then they get some extra visit time. So
Nice. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. What is your end of treatment? I know that there are phases from the treatment to the 30 days to the extended. What does the celebratory end commencement look like?
well, they are in a phase system. And so detox is the renewal phase as they're renewing themselves. And then they transition to residential and they begin in the awakening phase. And then they transition to the lotus phase because they are blossoming from the mud.
Yeah.
And then when they graduate, they are transitioning to the Phoenix space. And graduation is 2 days a week during community meeting in the morning. And so, they can choose who they want to be there. They're a therapist, they're a coach, so recovery advocate, the recovery support team that they were closest to, all their peers, and we just pour gold out and shine on them and fill them with positive affirmations, and we charge their serenity coin, so no matter where they go they can hold that coin and they can feel that love, and peace and serenity, and just empower them, to continue this journey, that it's one day at a time, 1 hour at a time even, and that
Yes.
they're never alone ever again, that they will always be supported and loved, and they are worthy. They are worthy, and that's the most important thing.
Yes, they are worthy and they have community, they have family.
Yes.
They can always reach back, which is
Right.
so important. Family's more than just blood. You
Yes.
get to choose who your family's gonna be. Outstanding stuff, girl. My goodness, I may have to make a trip down to Texas to check you all
Yes,
out.
please. We would love to have you. Absolutely.
I am going. I think the business development gentleman reached out.
Oh, good.
Yes, 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 yes. So yes,
Yes,
that
Eric, and
yes.
he runs the Spiritual Care Network. And so, there's conferences and there's speaking opportunities, and we just want to spread the message of hope and light to all, for all to see. And so, we would love for you to be a part of that.
Yes,
And when you
indeed. I look forward to our offline conversation
can.
about that. I want to talk about, let's see here. What is your greatest accomplishment, Miss Heather? We both share, I didn't know that until today. We both shared that bio pre-med start, right? And still caring for others, not necessarily as a physician, or a physician assistant, but we're still caring and sharing with others. What would you say in your journey thus far has been your greatest accomplishment?
Oh my goodness. Well, it's hard to put the number one on it, right? Because there's so many. I
Your
mean,
top
for
three. Your top three.
my top three, will definitely be my babies.
Of course.
They are absolutely miracles. And, I struggled with the natural pregnancy, and they're my IVF miracles. And so they are one of my greatest accomplishments
Yes.
on that front. And um, uh, getting sober and living a life of true freedom with my higher power and being
Yes.
able to serve would be another great, great accomplishment. And designing, and not by myself. I didn't design Serenity Light Recovery by myself and get it going, but having the incredible team that I have, that's loving and supportive, and they have the same heart and the same drive and the same light to be able to give and serve. And recently I had to restructure leadership and restructure some of the things at the facility, and to be able to shift gears and reboot and refresh Serenity Light Recovery in a whole new way and a whole new light, and seeing it thrive and shine.
Yes. Yes.
Definitely, what another great accomplishment, because I was very determined and I'm very persistent. And I told my dad, I actually thanked him. I said, all those years that, you probably thought I was stubborn or
Hmm.
felt stubborn. It's like you taught me how to turn my stubbornness into greatness, and I
Yes.
thank you for that.
Yes.
Because I'm alive today because of that, and creating and serving because of that. And so,
Yes.
those would be my top accomplishments.
You are a winner, Heather. Oh my gosh. You are
Thank
that
you.
perseverance, that relentless tenacity to push forward until your idea is tangible. There's nothing like it. To share the love of the world with other people, what the world need now is more love.
Yeah.
And you and your team give that. I mean, hats off to you again. I'm just so excited. I was like, man, take it to me to Heather because it's so real. It's so real. I wish sometimes I can take out my heart and just give it to someone to, whether it's charge them up or for them to feel just how it's not fake. It's real.
Right.
You can have
Right.
joy every day. You can
Yes.
you can you can feel loved every day. You can overflow and help a neighbor every day. It's real. And I just am so excited, ignited, and delighted when I meet other people with like spirits who just want to be the hands and the feet and just to help others in any way that they can. Let me move on to the next question. Yes. Let's see here. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Yes. Before I finish up, I want to talk a little bit about your team. And so, when you are hiring for your team, what are some of the values? I know you shared that your team shares the same things that's in your heart. So, what are some of those values that you're looking for when you are hiring in your workplace?
Well, definitely integrity, first and foremost, and the loving heart, and I say, it's one thing to see it on paper, but I have to meet them, and I have to feel that energy of love,
Yes.
and see the light that they would shine and that they do shine,
Mhm.
and perseverance and dedication are
Yes.
huge, because this is a very difficult industry to be in. However, it's so rewarding to see the changes before you,
Yes.
and you can't give up 5 seconds before the miracle. And
Yes.
so,
Very
I look at those qualities, and if they move towards empowerment and encouragement, instead of punishment. We
Yes.
punish ourselves enough as it
Yes.
is, and I don't do well with fear based.
Yes. I neither do I. Yes.
Strength based leadership, and those that thrive in that environment, and team player. So
That's where it's at. I love that. Oh my goodness, there's so many things that we share in common. That strength base,
mhm.
that you can do it. You
Yes.
know, let's look at the areas where you are strong and let's celebrate those strengths. Let's come up with a plan, for areas maybe you're not hired this time. But let's take this as an opportunity to learn and grow and hear some of the feedback. So next time I want to see you work on these things. And if you are able to focus on those. I would love to have another conversation. So, yes, even in the process of recruitment, in selecting your team, even in the process when working with your clients, making sure that you are encouraging them in the areas where they're doing well, so that again, not stopping them down, not causing that anxiety of fear to rear its ugly head. Those are things that we need to continue to share with our neighbors, our fellow organizations, so that people
Yeah.
can really stand up and be the individuals that they've been called to be.
Yes. Yes.
What are your final words to our listeners? What's one thing that you want to inspire and leave that spark, that light that they can meditate on this evening or while they replay this podcast?
Well, I think that there's nothing more beautiful and powerful than the genuine smile. And to be able to share that with others, it can become so contagious and healthy, and be more than just that ripple effect, but create waves.
Yeah,
And kindness goes takes you further than belief. And also that there's always hope. There's always hope for good over evil. There's always hope for good changes to come. And the one thing that I always remember and I always share with people, that no matter how far life seems to be pulling you back, right?
yes,
The harder it pulls back, just imagine the bow and arrow. And the
yes.
further that it's pulled back,
Well,
the the
further,
further
yes,
it's going to launch further and greater and more powerful
yes,
than ever. And so I always remind myself of that, and empower others to believe in that and trust in that. And the best decision I've ever made in my life was saying yes to God's will,
yes,
and trusting that, and I trust in His plan. I trust in the universe and connections, and meeting people for the right reasons, and for the everything happens for a reason. And so I learned to go with the flow. And I think that's just a loaded question. I mean, I could talk,
oh my
for.
gosh, I love listening to you. Just
But
the positivity, the hope, and the encouragement that comes from you, Heather, is very much priceless. It's priceless. I can't put a cost on it, and it's infectious. It's needed today. It's needed. And so, are there any other? I know that was supposed to be the last question, but I'm just like, I want more. Are there any other ways that your organization gives back besides through your clients that you're able to share this positive message with?
well, I mean, as far as, I mean, we're trying
Maybe
to.
schools or mentorship or
Well,
anything?
we were working on a scholarship essay campaign, and so we're going to relaunch that. There's a new podcast coming. Stay tuned to be able to share the message of hope, and a lot of webinars and education, because I think that education is key
Yeah,
for the community. And you don't know how to change or what to change unless you become aware of what's needed and what's out there and the resources available. And so that's coming. And we try to help out as much as possible and give back to the Council on Recovery, and try to be a part of um, this world, not just the
yeah.
community here, but anything that we can do to spread the message of hope. That's what we do.
Yes, yes, yes. And I just want to shout out. I know that we have met our 30-minute mark, but I want to shout out to those who are listening. Delta 8 is not your friend. So as you go and you vape and you do your thing, just be mindful. Be mindful. Do some research. Do some research and just know that your body, I say you only get one Cadillac. You get one Cadillac. You have to take care of it. Love on it.
And
You know,
there's a a better way to make yourself feel better or to handle that stress.
Yes.
The power, I mean, exercise.
Nice. Yep.
Exercise and just a simple walk for 15 minutes a day will decrease
Yes.
stress by at least 30%. That's huge.
Yes.
And
Yes.
regular exercise for a year will increase the hippocampus by 1%. That's learning and, memory. And so there's a lot of healthy outlets
Yes.
that you can do and not just rely on a substance.
Yes, that's critical. For those who must have something, please don't touch the Delta 8. For
Yeah.
those who may not be the exercise buff, think of exercise fun, dancing,
Yes.
skating. There's so many different ways, cycling that you can go and get those um, happy hormones
Endorphins.
going.
Yes.
Yeah, going so that you can feel good and release that stress so that you're not going and creating a vice or an attachment to anything that's not going to be good for your body. Well, I am going to ask you to stand by, Heather, but to our listening audience, thank you so much again for another wonderful Winning Workplace Wednesdays. Until next time, family, keep shining, and spread the love and light to the world. Thank you so much. Toodles. Don't go, Heather. Thank you.